when they tell you.
Good afternoon, New Orleans, or wherever you may be. It's Wednesday at 4, so this must be Baldy and The Blonde. Still in the free state of Louisiana. And Tom is in the, not so free area of New York City today, I believe. Mr. Baldy?
I'm here 3 weeks ago. I was in New Orleans. 2 weeks ago, I was outside Tulsa. Last week, I was outside Albuquerque, and today I'm in New York City.
Yeah.
I think I'll be back in Albuquerque next week, but I never know.
I never know either. I know who's in charge, though, and I know who to ask, and it's not you.
Yeah, well, I can look at I keep a calendar. So, anyway, if you hear a train whooshing by periodically, that's the Long Island Railroad, about 25 yards out my window. Oh. It's quiet, but you might hear a little noise.
We might hear it. Well, that could be the train heading to the new communist concentration camps. They're getting ready to take care of the objectors to Mr. Zoran, the communist, soon-to-be mayor of New York City. Oh, my goodness.
Well, it's not guaranteed to win.
Well.
But I mean, he's obviously the favorite. And, I don't think it is an exaggeration to call him a communist. I mean, so later on, we will be reading from the platform of the Democratic Socialists of America, of which he's part of. And you listeners will hear for themselves how communist it is.
Well, I mean, I've heard the clip that we're going to play in a minute, and he says something that pretty much is the bedrock of communism, right?
Yeah.
I was actually shocked he let that slip. Usually they try to hide their agenda a little bit.
Well, that was years ago, and that was during a conference of the Democratic Socialists of America. We forgot to start with the national anthem. Do you want to?
Oh yes, wait. In honor of the 4th of July, yes, we do have clip number 1 for the national anthem. A piece of it, anyway.
For the land of the free and the home of the gays.
The home of the what?
He said the gays, and he said it twice.
What about the home of the brave?
The national anthem. No, he changed the words to the national anthem. That's a singer, I've never heard of him, called Uche or something like that.
Uh-huh.
I think he was at a Houston Rockets game in the last few days.
This is the first I've heard of this. Was there any, I don't know, response? Yeah, I was thinking blowback, but I thought that would be the wrong term. Anyway,
you go try to find it online, and good luck. It's really hard to find online. I don't remember how I came across it, but so I don't know exactly when it was, but it was looks like it was on the Rockets court, Houston Rockets of the NBA. It must have been during Pride Month, probably just the last couple of days.
Well, so now we're going to start changing the national anthem, which is supposed to be a unifying. Not that gays and every other minority group in the country are not included under the national anthem, but what's next? We're going to start changing new Pledge of Allegiance to honor the indigenous people of America. This is all part of the balkanization of the country, which is not good for the country. It's better for us all to think of ourselves as Americans. And you could think of how you could say in the home of the what? What else? The wave. Let's say you're at a Tulane game and the home of the wave. Is that okay?
Yeah, good one. No, it's not.
No, it's not okay. It's funny, kind of.
It's okay.
It's sort of clever, and it flew out of my mouth before I could even think about it. But you know what I mean. It's not. It's not what we do. It's just that we were supposed to be a nation. This is the 4th of July, the 250th celebration of the founding of the country, or at least of the Declaration of Independence. And I think we ought to be thinking a little more nationally and a little less Balkan-type thinking, or separately, gumbo versus the stew. And that's the gumbo people are. I'm not in favor of that theory. We're looking for people to assimilate and share goals, because what makes a nation? Borders, culture. Who made that up? Michael Savage, I believe.
I have no idea.
Borders, culture, language. You have to share some things. You have to share a pride in your country and an identity. And I don't think we want to start having people sing the national anthem to the buzzword of the week for the group of the week.
Yeah, they probably don't even do that in Atlanta, where they are the home of the Braves.
I bet you they do say the Braves, huh? I never thought of that. Well,
no, they should not.
They should not.
There.
At least it's the same word, though. Goodness.
Just a little S on the end.
Yeah.
Anyway, we got to move on.
Let's move on. But anyway, I had not heard that, and I disapprove. So there you go. So next up is, I believe, Mr. Zoran Mandani. Before we play the clip, I just did want to say that there is some reason to have hope, less than what I have heard the various pundits talking about, which is that there was only 500 and something thousand votes cast, I think, if I'm correct. And in a city of what? How many million? 11 million?
8, I think.
Yeah. And, you would think the Jewish population of New York, which I know is left-wing of left, but nonetheless, this guy is chanting global intifada, from the river to the sea. You would think that might galvanize the Jewish vote. There are 1 million registered voters in New York who are Jewish. Maybe they'll come out and vote. I don't know. But right now you can see that he's got his little socialist groupies out beating the streets for him. But the rest of them are split between, Cuomo, who got beat like a dog. Curtis Lewa, who wears the little beret and is he's the founder of, what's the name of that group that he founded?
Guardian Angels.
Yeah, the Guardian Angels. And, protect people on the streets of New York, going back to when New York was really crime-ridden before Giuliani, and it's getting there again. And Cuomo again, and Eric Adams, who is the current mayor, and no one likes him either. So I can see those three splitting the vote, and little Mr. Communist, little Fidelito, coming in on a wave of love, just like Fidel. Handsome, very hip, knows how to use social media. Look, I do not underestimate this guy, just like I don't underestimate AOC. They are slick little lizards, and they are well trained. They remind me of little Barack Obamas. God only knows who trained them, but they seem especially well trained for the job. So.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, of persuasion, and they're good at it. So give them their due. So let's. Should we introduce him with his own out of his own mouth? Is that where we are next?
Yeah, let's hear it.
All right, clip number 11, please.
One of the purposes about this entire project, it's not simply to raise class consciousness, but to win socialism. And obviously raising class consciousness is a critical part of that. But making sure that we have candidates that both understand that and are willing to put that forward at every which moment that they have, at every which opportunity that they're given. We have to continue to elect more socialists, and we have to ensure that we are unapologetic about our socialism. Also, other issues that we firmly believe in, whether it's BDS or whether it's the end goal of ceasing the means of production.
Aha! There you go. You never hear him say it. And you're right, Tom. He said it because it was a long time ago before this. And, but it is the bedrock of communism, seizing the means of production.
Yes, and he says it's the end goal. That's where, in other words, everything is lining up to do that very thing.
And that
Once
means...
you got that, you do have everything. And we don't have time in this segment to read through that party platform. But it is shocking.
Shocking.
And I'm just wondering, has anybody asked, or will somebody ask this guy if he renounces the political platform from the Democratic Socialists of America?
Well,
when we come back, we'll read from it.
Yeah, that would be good, because we're down to 1 minute and 25 seconds. So maybe, Tom, you could set your little timer. We could do that going forward. Sorry about that, y'all. We're on the fly here. But, the fact that he would be so upfront, I don't care what they ask him. He was upfront then because he wasn't under the scrutiny that he is now. He'll say anything. These communists will say anything to get elected. I mean, Fidel pretended that he was as green as the something, I forget. But, as soon as he got in, he revealed his communist ties to Russia USSR at the time. So yeah, he's a communist, and I think what we're seeing is the result of years of kids not being taught American history. Other than that, we're bad, right? We're bad. Only the freest country on earth, which everyone's trying to get into, and they don't know the system of government. They think communism's just some other option, and they don't know that 200 million people died at the hands of their authoritarian, communist, and otherwise authoritarian governments in the 20th century. So on that uplifting note, let's say that this is Baldy and the Blonde. We're here every Wednesday at 4, and we will be back in a few minutes, and you can follow us at Baldy Blonde on X and on Facebook, the Baldy and the Blonde group. Welcome back. This is Baldy and the Blonde. I'm Michelle Godin. Tom Coates and I are here every Wednesday at 4, and you can listen to all of our old shows commercial-free on baldyandtheblonde.com. Also, strongly encourage y'all to take a look at the still unsolved murder of 14 New Orleanians on New Year's Day in what appears to be a case riddled with unanswered questions, and you can find that also from the baldyandtheblonde.com. Take you right to the little film. It's 3 minutes, and I'd love to hear some of y'all's thoughts on what you think the answers are, because we sure don't know. Anyway, getting back to the little commie, the little Fidelito, little Castro running for New York mayor and looking like he's going to win. Tom, you got something to say on that topic?
Well, yeah, but first I think you wanted to play that clip that we had on Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. Marjorie talks about it, and she's been on fire lately, by the way, and I really appreciate her right now. So let's play, if we would, please, Kobe, clip number 12. Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about the New York mayor's race. Go ahead, Tom.
She's just explaining how it is that a guy like this could become popular.
Yeah.
It's basically because everybody else sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty much it.
But everybody else does too. So, yeah, that's clip 12.
Yeah.
Poor. They can't afford life. They can't afford to move up in the world. They looked at Andrew Cuomo and was like, why am I going to vote for him? He's not going to make my life better. And so they look at this man who's been in our country for 6 years. He's a socialist, and he's promising to empty the prisons and do all kinds of crazy things. And he's talking to them on their level and talking about the problems they are facing, relating to them with the problems they're facing. So these young people have no choice but to turn to this. It is a failure. It is literally a failure of the Republican Party.
Yep. Agreed.
Okay, so she got that wrong. He has not been here 6 years. I don't know where she got that. That's just not true.
Yeah,
He went to high school here. He's 33 years old. He went to high school in Brooklyn, I think. So I don't know where she got that. It's just not true.
It might be that's how long he's been a citizen, because he comes from Uganda. His father is a communist teacher at Columbia. His mother is a filmmaker, and you can see that he's very slick in the media world, which is really important in a society that we live in now. If you cannot be slick and cool with the media, you're done, right? You're toast. You have to know that. So he's good at that.
But you know what? But you know what? Even Trump, when he was picking his cabinet members, he wanted to see how they looked on TV.
I love that he did that. You know what? I've complained all the time about not being conscious of that. I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing. You have to be. If you want to compete, you have to be media savvy. And that goes back to Nixon versus Kennedy. I mean, people that listened to the debate on the radio all said, Nixon won. People that watched TV, Nixon was sweaty. He looked bad. Kennedy looked great. And the people that watched it said Kennedy won. So that was the big, and here we are now. So, anyway, this guy is a scary dude talking about seizing the means of production, meaning, for example, seizing, he wants to have groceries owned by the government.
We're going to read down the list.
Yeah, let's do it.
This is the party platform.
Yeah, it's a good idea because, maybe people don't know. Maybe people don't know what he actually stands for. So this is the party platform, and Tom suggests somebody should ask this guy if he really endorses all of this, but they won't. So we'll read it to you.
So now these are direct quotes, or maybe just paraphrasing the tiniest bit, but for the most part, these are direct quotes from their website. First of all, for social ownership of things. He wants social ownership of all major industry and infrastructure, social ownership and democratic control of utilities and key industries, including railroads, water, gas, electric, telecommunications, media, and internet service providers. Public ownership and funding of our healthcare system. Public ownership of energy utilities and the electric grid. Nationalize and bring into public ownership privately owned freight railroads. They want to own everything. They say public. That just means federal government.
Well, and look at how that's worked out in the past for countries that have tried it.
Yeah. Well, and you know what, though? You mentioned that youth in America need to know American history, and that's true. But they also need to read Soviet history.
Very good point.
The Soviet Union forever, during their entire history, said that we are a socialist nation. They didn't say communist. Now, they had the Communist Party.
Right.
But they were a socialist government, and their goal was to become a communist government.
Right. The name of the country was the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics.
Yeah, right. And the whole point of socialism was to bring in communism. So
Always.
Sure, that's got to be one of the goals of the Democrat Socialists of America. They don't explicitly state it here, but let's why don't you pick up? We have another category on the platform of free stuff.
Okay.
So
this is sure. Free stuff. Cancel all student loan debt. Provide public college. Free contraception and birth control for all. Free fertility treatment for all. Free abortion on demand. Paid parental leave for all people. Guaranteed home health care for all who need it. Universal child care, elder care, and pre-kindergarten. Guaranteed publicly available water, energy, transit, food, and other necessities for all free of charge. Guaranteed transit.
Read that one again. Free food.
Yeah, free
transit,
water, energy, transit, food, and other necessities for all. Now look, this sounds great.
Oh, yeah, if it fell out of the sky, that's the only way it's free.
So who do they propose will pay for this? I mean,
rich people and corporations.
Sure, and as Margaret Thatcher, the former hard-nosed anti-socialist Prime Minister of England said, socialism is great until you run out of other people's money. So,
yeah, that would happen real fast with making everything free. But wait, I got to read the next one.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's see. Everyone will be covered by one health insurance program administered by the federal government. All medically necessary services will be fully covered. Everyone goes to the provider of their choice. Dental, vision, mental health, reproductive health, long-term care, and pharmaceuticals are all included. No copays, no fees, no deductibles, and no premiums ever. And get this, it includes non-citizens.
Of course. Once again, there is
the whole world.
In no world.
Why does it include only people who made it to our borders? Why don't we just say the whole world and the moon and Mars, since we're going to be there soon?
I think we should. I think that's a great idea. In fact, let's get in touch with little Mr. Zoran Fidelito and see if he would agree to that. Like, why are you being so, exclusive? Why have you cut off the people of the world? Because we should be able to.
What's wrong with you?
Obviously, he's a little cretin. He's not true to his word. And we have 1 minute and 10 seconds left, Tom. So mark your calendar.
There's one more on the list, and of course, you had to wait for this one. It's got to be here.
Yeah.
Reparations at municipal, state, and federal levels.
Wow.
So they need to pay reparations, states and the feds. I guess even states from the north where they didn't have slavery, they got to pay too.
So that's reparations for people who were never slaves from people who never owned slaves, right?
Yeah, and they actually, and they don't even say. Here's the extra scary part. They don't even say reparations for what.
They don't. So presumably that's anybody.
All kinds of things.
I'd say it should be, I was offended by something you said, and I want reparations.
So this list, there's more to it. We got to get back to it because it's all coming up.
This is
horrific.
This is Baldy and the Blonde here every Wednesday at 4. Michelle Godin, Tom Kowitz. I'm a lawyer in New Orleans. You can also call me at my law firm where I do personal injury work. Every now and then I remember to say what I actually do for a living because it's not this. Anyway, you can follow us at Baldy Blonde on X and visit us at baldyandtheblonde.com and listen to all of our old shows commercial free. See you on the flip side. Welcome back to Baldy and the Blonde. I'm Michelle Godin along with Tom Kowitz, and we are talking about the little communist mayor-to-be in New York. I think we've covered most of his platform. We have a few more juicy tidbits that he's in favor of. as espoused by the National Socialist Party's platform. And, he's already...
wait.
Yeah.
Michelle, this is important. Not the National Socialist Party. That's the Nazi Party.
Oh,
this
sorry.
Is the Democrat Socialists of America.
There you go. And that's his party.
Now, yes. Now, the reason that we're going through this, so he's the likely future mayor of New York City, but he's been a keynote speaker at the convention for the DSA, and there's videos of him saying that this movement needs to go nationwide and worldwide. So he's not limiting his efforts to New York City, and that's why we're going through this list.
Oh, absolutely. And that's AOC. That's, you can see these people on the rise across the United States and offering free stuff with zero record of success anywhere on this earth, period, ever.
Exactly.
Ever.
Now,
and what it has resulted in is millions and millions of people dead from starvation, from concentration, from being locked up in concentration camps, from being murdered and killed by their government. It's called democide. Democide, meaning death at the hands of your government. And the communists are great at that. So, look at yeah, go ahead.
20th century was filled with that. So the first half of this list was shocking enough. It's about to get a lot worse. This is the category of crime.
Yep.
Listen to this stuff.
Go for it, Tom.
Defund the police by cutting budgets annually toward zero.
Yep.
Free all people from incarceration.
Open the jails.
Yes, this is no joke. This is what's on their website. End all misdemeanor offenses. Repeal local ordinances that criminalize squatting and other productive occupation of unused housing.
Productive occupation. So when a bunch of homeless people are shooting up in a house that's been abandoned, that is productive. Yes, of course. And then immigration.
So decriminalize that. Free everybody. Open the jails. Let everybody out.
Yep.
And all misdemeanor offenses. So no more shoplifting, stalking, even simple battery. Great. So all those things are no longer crimes, and it didn't matter if they were because they're going to open the jails anyway.
Well, and
crazy. It is.
New York
they've actually posted.
New York is toast if they don't defeat this guy. Because let me tell you, if you haven't seen him, you got to go look at him. He's cute. He's smooth. He's Fidel. He's Barack. He's all of these slick people that know how to manipulate the media like he does. And the media, of course, loves communism because, like all communists, they're not going to be in the camps. They're not going to be eating the garbage food that's left in the. Go look up some videos of the USSR's food lines. You'd have to wait a week to get a loaf of bread. You couldn't buy flour to make it yourself. They had nothing. So that's what happens when the government's in charge. And here is their platform on immigration. Grant immediate and unconditional amnesty for all immigrants, regardless of current immigration status. End all deportations and enforcement actions. Allow for legal employment to all persons, regardless of immigration status. Wait.
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Workers, a 4-day, 32-hour work week with no reduction in wages or benefits. What? I mean, what if you have work to do? Just too bad? Too bad.
Right. 4 days, 32 hours a week, but they don't reduce your wages or benefits. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
That could work.
I'm sure all the little businesses all over the world, like all over the country like mine, we could just suck it up. What are these people are? But they have to know it's leading to chaos and poverty and destruction while they, lord it over everyone else, because that is what always happens. I mean, when you look at videos of Cuba, or some of you have been there, the fact that they have all these 1950s cars, that coincides directly with around the time that those cars were a few years old when Fidel went communist. And that was it. So they don't have any more cars. They don't have food. The only thing that you see as a tourist, just like if you go to China, you see what they want you to see. And that's what the Soviet Union used to do. If you went on a tour, you were extremely restricted in what they would allow you to see. So they're not going to show you, but the history books are filled with the fact that communism has time and again failed and never once succeeded. Never once. So this guy, and he's not going to get worked over in the press because they love it. So, and more.
Let me say this. That apologists for communism will say the same thing, and the same thing about socialism.
Always.
Well, real communism has never been tried.
Right.
And here's the thing. They're right, because the goal of socialism is to get to communism. The reason real communism has never been tried is because socialism is so destructive, you never get to the end point.
Yeah. Well, that's a kind of an esoteric splitting hairs debate to me, because they said they were communists, right? Like Fidel said he was a communist.
No. Well, the communist part. Well, okay, yes, that may be true, but I'm just talking about the people who apologize for it. It's never been tried.
Right.
Now, maybe yes, maybe no. Their vision of it hasn't been tried, but their means to get to their vision has been tried many times. Many times. And you can't get to that utopia because the road to the utopia is hell.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
It's not utopia on the other end anyway, but it's absolute hell on the road to get there.
Well, and that's what they intend for the United States. So, people,
they're working
and
for
they
it.
have done a very good job of, plowing the fields in terms of making young minds. There's lots of them out there that are just ignorant beyond belief and have no idea. I mean, we've played time and again videos of asking the man on the street, what is the capital of the United States? Oh, Venezuela. So when people are
Canada had a border.
Right. When people are that ignorant, they're ripe for any sort of malarkey or lies that are told to them by the father of all lies, which that's what we're looking at.
If you are not well educated at all, and you've been a victim of these public schools for years, then you read a list that says you can get all this free stuff. Think like, well, I'll do that.
Yeah.
Where do I go for my free electricity, transportation, food, health care? Great, sign me up.
Sign me up, and that's it, because they don't know it's a scam. I mean, usually, if it sounds too good to be true, it is. And all they do to throw at them, to explain how they're going to do is, well, we're just going to tax the rich. As if the rich are going to stay in New York, because they're leaving.
This is not just for New York.
Everyone,
you know that.
Of course. And so, Florida's already like, hey, we're building a wall. Keep the New Yorkers out, right? So.
And these ignorant kids have probably never heard of Fidel Castro or even heard of the Soviet Union.
Well, they haven't been taught, because look at the teachers union. I mean, it's run by Randy Weingarten, and she couldn't be more of a child of, Fidel. I mean, so I don't know. This is why it's really important that that people know where they come from and they know what, danger is on the horizon, but I don't know. They don't. This guy got a lot of votes, so I hope there's going to be some fire in the step of some New Yorkers who'd like to save their city, but so far it's looking pretty bad. He's the overwhelming favorite. So, and as far as immigration goes, I think we have a little something to say about that too. I guess let's see which clips we should go to. I think we've about wrapped up our diatribe against the little commie running for mayor of New York. Yeah. Where do you want to go, Tom? How about?
So, how much time we got?
How are we doing on here? About 2:45, Tom. So Tom is not in the studio with us, so we're not able to. We have to do some things.
So let's play clip number 21.
Yeah.
Borders are Tom Homan.
Yeah.
He's talking about an app that was recently introduced called Ice Block. Actually, it's a pretty cool name, and it warns people where ICE officers are looking for people.
Yeah.
So that's clip 21.
This is simply disgusting, and any network that covers that is disgusting as well. So I'm hoping DOJ steps in there and see if they cross that line of impeding federal law enforcement officers. Assault against ICE is up over 500%. Now you've got an app that's going to tell where ICE operations are going to be. It's only a matter of time for ICE agents are ambushed by some nut, like what happened in L.A., throwing a Molotov cocktail, throwing bricks at these officers. This is just disgusting at every level. So I hope DOJ dives in this deeply, because ICE is concentrating on public safety threats and national security threats. This shouldn't be a partisan issue. This shouldn't be an issue anybody is against. So they're already a dangerous job going after the worst of the worst. These guys are putting their lives on the line every day going after the worst of the worst international security threats. And this app makes it that much more dangerous.
Yeah, and I CNN was publicizing it just as they used to publicize the app that people could use that Biden set up to let yet more illegals in the country, to fly them in through an app so they wouldn't be seen at the border. So, the whole problem is brought in by the communist Biden, who let the country be flooded with millions of illegal people who are here illegally, and now they want to put out the locations of ICE agents so that people can kill them like they did those poor firefighters in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. So I'm with Tom on this. I think it's an obstruction of justice. I mean Tom Homan, and an interference with. I do recognize that it's a gray area, but I do think it's specifically targeting and subjecting these guys to violence, especially since there's so few of them and so many millions of illegals. Thanks, Joe Biden. Kamala Harris. Thank you. Yeah. So.
Well, we're probably out of time now. I wanted to hear that one more clip, but.
Yeah. Do we have time? No. 20 seconds. We have another clip from Kristi Noem. Maybe we'll play that on the other side of this. We're Baldy and the Blonde discussing communism and the immigration crisis, which is getting underway. And you can check us out at Baldy Blonde on X. Welcome back, New Orleans. This is Baldy and the Blonde. I'm Michelle Godin, along with Tom Coates, here every Wednesday at 4. Thanks so much for all the positive feedback. Loving it. And we're just here right now discussing the fact that there's an app to allow people to know where the ICE agents are before they get there and literally track them so that they can be greeted, I'm sure, with love and affection. This is a quote now from Kristi Noem, the head of the Department of Homeland Security.
CNN yesterday pushed an app that lets you track where ICE agents are. Tom Homan was saying that perhaps CNN should be prosecuted for that.
We're working with the Department of Justice to see if we can prosecute them for that, because what they're doing is actively encouraging people to avoid law enforcement activities, operations, and we're going to actually go after them and prosecute them with the partnership of PAM if we can, because what they're doing, we believe, is illegal.
And they may be prosecuted also for having given false reports on the attack in Iran.
So that's two things there. That's two issues there raised. The first one being the ICE app. What's it called? ICE Block, allowing you to know where the ICE agents are in advance. Secondly, Trump throws off an aside at the end about Iran, and that's a whole separate issue. But
yeah, it was terrible. Yeah. Well, the thing about the app, there's an app right now. I use it called Waze. A lot of people use Waze, and it alerts you if there's a cop ahead. That's all ICE Block is doing.
Nah, I don't agree. I don't agree with that. Because Waze is these are publicly observable cops who are sitting on the side of the road. You don't need the app to find them.
That's what ICE is.
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know where they're getting the info. Yes. Plus,
when people see, it's the exact same thing as Waze. Is when people see ICE, they say ICE is in the area. They drop a pin or whatever you call it. It's the exact same thing as Waze. It's just like when we were kids and you see a speed trap, you flash your lights at the guy coming. What, they're going to arrest you for that? Or what if you're a neighbor and you wave at a guy from your window saying, "Hey, ICE is down there." Are they going to arrest you for that? I don't like it.
I don't know. I'd have to know more about this app. I don't know enough about ICE Block. If it's publicly observable, because the agents don't usually. It's not like a cop sitting on the side of the road. To my knowledge, they are. I've never seen them just standing around. But maybe they are. And if that's the case, I don't know. But it is legally, it is a gray area because I did do a little research on this. So it's, and I have to say that I think the violence out there right now it's gonna be just like the ambush.
So if you really want to keep ICE agents safe, let's confiscate all the guns. I mean, how far do you carry it? You're going to shut down the First Amendment and the Second Amendment?
No, I'm not. I'm not shutting anything down. I just think it's weird that CNN is out there once again promoting bizarre anti-American lawless behavior.
That's CNN. That's a separate issue. I'm talking about the app itself. If that's illegal, then that's the problem. So you said you did your research and said maybe it's a gray area. If that's illegal, that's a really big problem.
Well, it could be considered to be obstruction of justice for the same reason, like the judge who escorted a criminal in her courtroom out through the back door to hide him from ICE. Is that a crime? It's obstruction of justice.
That's actively helping someone get away. This is just saying there's cops there. Waze is already doing that. So if you're going to go after this ICE block, you got to go after Waze.
It depends, and that depends on if you're correct or not. And I don't know that, and I'm not conceding that point because I don't know that this is people like dropping a pin on ICE agents that they see on the street. Plus, the cop, honestly, on Waze is in a car on the side of the road, and if it's cops that are going into a building to apprehend someone. Yeah, I don't know. It seemed pretty vulnerable to me, so I'd have to look into that more and see how that app works. But you seem to know, so I don't know. But I don't like it. I sure don't like it.
Well, no,
I certainly don't appreciate that our country was treasonously flooded with people on purpose creating all of these problems by the Democrats and the leftist, communist, treasonous traitors that were in charge of this country, and by the grace of God are not there now. Because we'd be done. You can forget every freedom that you have. They're not interested in freedom. This is exactly the opposite. This was to prompt these types of discussions among normal people who know there's something wrong here, and it was created on purpose to cause the chaos that it is causing. So yeah, I got to think about it. I need to know more. Because I am not in favor of targeting agents trying to undo the treasonous damage done to us by the Biden regime. So, and whoever was running the country.
That was really hyperbolic on Homan's part. The app is not set up to like attack anybody. Not that it couldn't happen, but
I'd say the hyperbole is necessary. I'd say it's warranted right now. There's 5,000 ICE agents. Period, which was a number of agents set up. I mean, we have more IRS agents than ICE agents, you know? What does that tell you? So that number is low on purpose, the whole thing is screwed up. So I'd say maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna look more into the app itself.
I just tend toward freedom. The Bill of Rights is there for a reason. And if I'm in my high rise and I see ICE, and I yell down, "Hey, Charlie, ICE is in the area." Now I'm guilty of obstructing justice?
No, not under that situation. No, that's you speaking. This is some company has an app. Are they charging for it? I don't know.
It's just some dude. It's some dude who developed the app. It's just a guy who developed the app. I'm going to reserve any further comment on it till I look into it, because I doubt that it's just some dude. I really do. That may be what the official story is, but I'm not. I don't believe it. Okay, so say it's a large corporation. The principle is the same.
Yeah,
the principle is the same. I'm just alerting you to that somebody's in the area. I mean, if you're gonna criminalize that, okay, if that's obstructing justice, fine, throw the book at them. But the problem is that's something like that can be prosecuted. That you just say that there's an officer in the area.
I don't know enough about it. I certainly could not be more on the side of freedom, but this is a direct response to many, many, many illegal acts taken against the sovereignty of the United States, of American citizens. And yes, they're going to use, once again, our freedoms to against us, against the sovereign freedom of the United States.
Yes, and that's the risk of a free society.
No, but this did not happen because we were a free society. This invasion happened because we were not. Because
I get that.
Yeah.
But we have a free society. We have a Bill of Rights. We have a First Amendment. We have a Second Amendment.
And not all of that extends to illegal aliens as it does to us. It doesn't.
Well, the app is not run by illegal aliens.
I don't know anything about that app. I'll find out. We'll have to reserve any further discussion about how awesome the app is, or who the dude is, or the corporation, or whoever set it up, because I just don't believe that it's just some free speech app assisting the illegals of the country and putting the agents who are already at a tremendous disadvantage on purpose at risk.
Well, I can't emphasize enough. It really is just like the Waze app. Like, there's a cop ahead. That's all it does. And it keeps the information for 4 hours, and then it's gone.
I don't doubt that's what your research says, but I'm guaranteed to look into it further, because I don't like it. And I know that we're in this exact position, because it was calculatingly planned for us to end up at this moment to cannibalize each other and to use our freedoms for our demise. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Baldy and the Blonde. We are here every Wednesday at 4. You can check us out on baldyandtheblonde.com, on X at baldyblonde. See you next week.